Hello, hello, hello. It's Knits for Sanity, and welcome to day 3 of my holiday celebration with the Zesty Advent Calendar. Days 1 and 2 have been completed, and I cannot wait to complete day 3's square. Woohoo! This has been a lot of fun to be working on, guys. And for today's story, if you don't know, I am sharing some type of holiday related story every time I do my diamond painting square on my Zesty Advent calendar. And today's story, I think we're going to talk about childhood favorite gifts. And what were some of my favorite gifts that I received as a kid? Or what were some of those items that were a must-have for me as a child? And this kind of stems from the fact that I'm hoping later tonight to watch with the family, but particularly daughter number 3, who is obsessed with the Muppets. This child adores the Muppets. Well, there is Muppet Family Christmas TV movie. And it was a made-for-TV movie, and it was supposed to, I don't remember watching it. There's a very good chance that I did watch it, but I would have been so little that I am not surprised that I don't remember this. But it was branching together all of the different Muppet parts that existed in 1987. Which you had Fraggle Rock, you had Sesame Street, you had the Muppets, and you also had Muppet Babies. And so that's what this TV special did, is it put all of these different Muppet categories together, brought them into one fabulous TV special. Well, I don't remember watching this, and I know my daughter has never seen it. And I discovered that you can indeed watch it on YouTube. The one kind of sad bit about this is we will probably never be able to see it in its entirety unless by chance we happen to find a version that was actually recorded from TV in 1987 and has been maintained this, almost 4 decades later by somebody somewhere, which, it is possible. Maybe then we'll be able to watch the whole thing in its entirety. Otherwise, again, it's copyright issues. As so many things from when I was a kid that did air on television or were released as a movie in the theater, before home video was a common thing, long before the world thought that you could own virtually anything and watch it from the comfort of your living room or your bedroom, a lot of things had copyright restrictions, which is also why, sadly, we will probably never be able to watch the original Muppet Babies ever again, which was my favorite Saturday morning cartoon as a very small child. Speaking of Muppet Babies and favorite Christmas gifts, I have talked about this in Whip and Chat before, but does anyone remember in 1988, McDonald's had a Muppet Baby plushie toy that you could purchase? Well, there were 3. There was a Kermit the Frog, a Miss Piggy, and a Fozzie Bear. I wanted one of those toys more than anything, and so did my younger sister. My youngest sister was an infant. She couldn't have cared 2 cents. And that, in 1988, that is what I really, really wanted. Well, I guess in many ways, fortunately for my parents, 1988 proved to be, I think, probably one of their more stressful holidays and more difficult holidays in trying to make sure that they had everything together, because we moved into our house December 3rd of 1988. And I was, just a wee little tyke myself at that time, but I have moved. And I know now how stressful moving is, but especially I can't imagine trying to move with 3 very young children, which is what my parents had in December of 1988, and then trying to make Christmas happen after this move. So I imagine being able to go to McDonald's to get your child's most sought after Christmas present, probably pretty helpful and affordable. So indeed, Christmas morning, when my younger sister and I went running downstairs, sticking out of our stockings were Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, and Fozzie Bear, all decked out in their Christmas garb. I got Miss Piggy, and she remained a companion of mine for many, many years. And in fact, on Friday nights, she would be the one who would get to sleep in bed with me. We were only allowed one stuffed animal in bed every night. I don't know why, just, one of those rules. And normally it was Happy Clown, which was made for me by my grandmother. Happy Clown I still have. But on Friday night, it would be Miss Piggy, so we could watch Muppet Babies together Saturday morning. What were some other huge things that I wanted as a kid for Christmas? All right, if anyone is about approximately my age, it's time for a stroll down memory lane. Anyone recall something called the Pretenders? Does this ring a bell? So the story was that there were these cats who needed to escape from, I think maybe a pet store. I'm not sure. And they dressed up as other animals in order to escape. It's a dumb story, yes. And so they were these rather large stuffed cats that came with a mask and a headband, which would be a different set of ears or something like that. For example, I wanted the cat that had a rabbit costume. And then when you squeezed the toy, they would purr. And then that broke the secret. That's how it was revealed that, shock, oh my goodness, these are not, this is not a rabbit. This is a cat. So yeah, that was the Pretenders. Believe that was 1989, probably. Yeah, that would be my guess. Probably 1989. So my sister, again, the one underneath me in age, and me, we each got one. I can't remember. I think my sister's was a cat that maybe had a toucan costume with it. I can't remember for sure, but it was something like that. And I did indeed get the one that had the rabbit costume type thing. Anyway, it was fabulous. And because it was for small children and because the cat stuffed animals were quite large, you could use the headband and mask on yourself. So that was the added bonus was then I could put on the rabbit mask and wear the rabbit ears. So that was another really big Christmas for me. As I got a little bit older, of course, it became more technology related things. I remember the year in middle school when I really, really wanted a Game Boy. Was I middle school at that point? I think it was 6th grade. I think it was the year that I was in 6th grade. More than anything, I wanted a Game Boy for Christmas. Well, my parents had a budget that they spent on us every year, and a Game Boy at that time pretty much was the entire budget allowed for Christmas presents. And I do remember my parents approaching me and talking to me about that. Well, now, if you get this for Christmas, because of course by then I knew that Santa Claus was not real, sadly. So, asking me about, if you get this for Christmas, then this is pretty much the only thing that you're going to get for Christmas. So you aren't going to have nearly as many presents as your sisters under the tree. Are you okay with that? And I said, absolutely. And I was. At that point and at that age, I wanted the Game Boy. Well, I got the Game Boy. And it was one of those really, those old, I don't know if you've seen them, but the huge gray clunky things. I don't think it was the first Game Boy model in existence, but it was pretty close to it. And I was thrilled. The game that I got with it was some like Super Mario coin game. I don't remember, but I was thrilled. I was super happy. I got a Game Boy, a calendar, because we always got a calendar. And then there was one other super small gift that I got that year for Christmas, and that was it. And I was totally content because I got what I really, really wanted. I was super happy about it. To go way back in time, as a preschooler, what I wanted more than anything one year was a Cabbage Patch doll. Who else had a Cabbage Patch doll? Oh, I loved Cabbage Patch dolls as a kid. For the most part, I wasn't really into dolls. I never really played with my Barbie dolls or anything like that. It just wasn't my interest. I did, however, love my My Little Ponies, but now I'm getting off track. But I did like Cabbage Patch dolls, and I ended up owning a total of 3 during my lifetime. Well, unless you want to include the, fake homemade one that was supposed to be passed off as a real Cabbage Patch, but obviously it was not. Anyway, moving right along. So I was 4 years old and I wanted a Cabbage Patch doll very, very badly for Christmas. And every night before bed, we would pray. We'd kneel around my parents' bed and we'd say a little prayer. We'd say our nighttime prayers and then go to bed. Well, I prayed for a Cabbage Patch doll for Christmas. If at all possible, could I please get a Cabbage Patch doll for Christmas? And my sister wants one too. My sister, who is just over 2 years younger than me and wasn't really good at being able to say prayers for herself yet. I mean, I wasn't either. I was 4. I had to make the request for her. So on her behalf, I prayed to God that she would also receive a Cabbage Patch Kid. Except because she was only 2 years old, my mother really didn't want her to get a doll with hair. I don't know if it was she just saw my sister totally getting the hair messed up. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure all of the reasons why. I can speculate after having now had 4 children that have been 2-year-olds. So while I was praying, asking if at all possible, maybe Santa Claus could bring me a Cabbage Patch doll for Christmas, my mother leaned over and whispered to me, "Ask for one with no hair for your sister." And I thought, that is a very bizarre request. But you know what? I did. I asked God to please bring my sister a Cabbage Patch doll with no hair. And she did. His name was Neil. So those were some of my childhood highlight Christmas gifts. I would love to know what some of yours were. Maybe you don't celebrate Christmas. I'd love to hear about maybe your favorite Hanukkah gifts or whatever other holiday it is that you celebrate. And now, hopefully by now, you're starting to catch on to how this goes. I'm going to speed up the rest of this video for you so you don't need to sit here bored while I ramble. And you can watch me in super fast speed, get through this day 3 square, and then I will show you the end product. check it out. Day 3. Look at that cute little snowman. That's adorable. And I used one extra number 7, the AB white, by accident. I had a choice. I could either pull out another light blue or just throw on another AB drill. And who's going to refuse a little extra sparkle, right? That was my thinking. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me for day 3. And of course, tomorrow will be day 4, and I hope you stop back. And tomorrow we'll talk about something a little bit different. But I promise, tomorrow, I already know what I'm talking about for December 4th. Anyway, like I always say, please practice kindness. You never know what someone is going through. And just treat people the way you want to be treated. And in return, I hope that you're treated the same way. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day and a blessed holiday season. And I will see you again real soon.